1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Welcome to the Mic is Hot with my pop
Kane is in
DJ
the building.
Thomas.
So greetings and welcome to the Mic is Hot, one of Atlanta's hottest sports podcasts in the state of Georgia. I'm your host, DJ Thomas, where we talk sports around the ATL. So tell a friend to tell a friend that the mic is hot right now. And without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host for today's show. Okay, folks, we are live here at the Mic is Hot, one of Atlanta's hottest sports podcasts. I am DJ Thomas, your man DJ. I got Big Time on standby.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening.
I got Arkansas Red. Where you at, Arkansas Red? You out there? Say something, Red. Can you hear me? Let me turn the music down because I don't think you can hear me. Arkansas Red, you out there? Hello?
Yes, I am. We'll be excited.
I mean, we giving you all kind of props and everything. This is a popping show, baby, tonight. The night is the night. The preseason's over. We're going to talk about our prediction tonight. We're going to let the world know how we feel about those Atlanta Falcons and what we think they're going to do this year. But first, let me give out a couple of ingredients to let people know where they can hear the show. If you guys are listening tonight, or tell a friend that you can actually hear the Mic is Hot. You can hear us on iTunes. You can hear us on TuneIn. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and there's a couple other sites out there I'm not familiar with, but all you got to do is search in your search engine, the Mic is Hot, TheMikishot. The email address is themicishot, TheMikishot @gmail.com, or you can text us at 678-900-9840 with your prediction. On the next show, we'll give your predictions. So on this show, we're going to give a prediction from us, and we'll give our predictions. So we'd love to hear your prediction of the Falcons, and we're going to run down that schedule for you tonight, all right? All right, folks, we're doing it again. Last time it was just Big Time myself, and this time we got Arkansas Red. We got the crew in there. These are the guys, some of my best buddies, and some of his experts. Big Time, he claims to be the next Jimmy the Greek. He knows. He predicted the NBA Finals. He predicted the last year's Super Bowl. He predicted Donald Trump as president. I don't know how much you can say about that. And Arkansas Red, he said, I don't even care. But you know what? It don't matter because you're going to be right in there. Ain't that right, Arkansas Red?
That's exactly right.
Oh, man. All right, let's hear. So we're going to get this thing popping. Let me turn this music on down a little bit. Let's get start digging into the show here. We're going to go, and we're going to jump right off the bat. We're going to have a short show tonight. We're not going to be very long because we understand that we all have wives out there, and we can't stay up as late as we want to, especially on a weeknight when we got to work. But first thing I want to do is I want to jump over to the Atlanta Falcons schedule, and we're going to just run down it and kind of get an idea. I'm going to ask you guys, who do you like in that particular game, and who do you think will win that game? And then when it's all over and done, you can actually give me your prediction for the season. I am writing this down. It is recording. It is going to be on the air. So when the season's over, we're going to run this. We're going to go. I always go back to next year and listen to what we said to make sure that we can't say, well, I was right about that. But anyway, just want to run out real quick in the preseason. We played the. All right, it's enough music now. Come on out of there. There we go. This year in the preseason, we had a couple of games, and the Falcons had lost all 3 preseason games. So, and most people say, who cares about preseason, just a preseason ball game? The first preseason game was on August the 10th. The Falcons played the Miami Dolphins. They lost 23-20. Close ball game, but, again, preseason again. And the second ball game, which I thought was a little more competitive, and what the Falcons need is a competitive team in the preseason compared to playing lightweight teams. They need that. We played against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, we lost again 17-13. And the third game was on August the 26th, this past Saturday. We lost the game 24-14 against the Arizona Cardinals. This game coming up this Thursday is going to be August the 31st, which they don't say. I don't think any of the starters will be playing this ball game. Am I right, guys?
Correct. I would think not.
Okay. But as we go into the new schedule, the first ball game of the season is going to be September the 10th. It's going to be a 1:00 ball game on Fox. It's going to be the Atlanta Falcons going to go out to Chicago. But let's start with Arkansas Red. What do you think about that game? You think the Falcons will win that game or what?
Yeah, they'll beat Chicago. Chicago ain't got nothing.
They ain't got nothing?
No, they ain't got nothing. It'll be an extension of the preseason, and basically it'll be a game. Hopefully, Matt Ryan can use it to learn how to throw a football ahead of a receiver.
Big time. What do you think on that?
Well, my prediction on that one, I'm going to say it's a toss-up. I mean, if that can be viewed as a prediction, because to me, it's just like Arkansas Red just said, it's an extension of a preseason game. So, but when you look at the fact that the Falcons have not, as a team, played as well as I would have expected in the preseason. This first game, you're going to go on the road, and then you're going to be outside. And when you look at the fact that Julio Jones hasn't played, nor has Freeman played, you can't just say this a guaranteed win, Arkansas. So we're up to, again, my predictions are toss-up. If I had to say which one you favor, I'll give the edge to Atlanta, but I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta lost this game.
Yeah, I don't see Atlanta lose this game. If you look at man to man, Atlanta has a far better team. But what I've seen so far in the preseason is pretty much what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years is Matt Ryan consistently throws the ball behind his receivers.
Hey, hit it right on the head.
I don't think they're getting any better. So I definitely put this one down as a win. Now, as you go further into the season, my opinion is going to change.
And that were my thoughts exactly about Matt Ryan. I watched him in the preseason, and I noticed his timing is not down. What he did last year, early part of last year and the year before, he threw the ball behind players. And right now he's not taking up where he left off last year. I saw a lot of this throwing behind players, and I think they took him out of the game and said he didn't need more reps. I think he needed to stay in the game at least the first half of the ball game and get his timing down. So I don't know if it's a new offensive coordinator causing that to happen or what's going on, but that is a factor right now, and that's something that's going to have to be corrected because I do believe in the NFL, there's other teams out there that watch him on tape, and they're going to be watching his shortcomings. One thing about Matt Ryan, it's kind of hard to predict. I mean, we know also in the last 5-6 ball game of the season, he got hot, and the Falcons got hot, and they went a long ways. But you can't expect them to come back, start the new year like they left off.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dennis. What's your prediction for that first game?
The first game, I like the Falcons in the first ball game. I think going on the road to Chicago, first game of the season, we're all pumped up, and I think it should be a win. Chicago lost their quarterback, and I think they kind of struggling out there, so I think that should be a win.
Okay, well, we all agree they're in a win.
All right, moving on to the September the 17th, it's an 8:30 primetime game here in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium on NBC. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Green Bay Packers, one of the teams they beat in the playoff this year. It's going to be a tough ball game. I can tell you so far about that ball game. I think Green Bay has a little bit of a, they thought they should have went to the Super Bowl last year, and we dominated like we did most of the postseason ball game. But I can tell you right off the bat on that ball game, the Falcons could win, but I'm thinking that the Green Bay's going to win this one. Big time, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to say the same Green Bay, and I say it because when you look at this new stadium and that atmosphere, in part, even though they would have played on it twice in the preseason, this still in the regular season will be like a visitor's field in respect to the field. They're adjusting to the clocks and a whole bunch of stuff they just have not seen in a full game. They won't see in a full game in the preseason.
Right.
And regardless of what Green Bay has, we don't know because we haven't watched them. We do know they still have Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers hadn't changed. One thing I know about Aaron Rodgers, man, he's one of the coolest quarterbacks in the NFL. I think on top of that, I believe that they're looking for revenge.
Yes.
Yes.
Big Arkansas Red, what do you think?
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come in and just throw the lights out. He would love to be able to come into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, brand new stadium. Everybody's hyped. and just blow the doors off the Falcons, because Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to look at them and see the weaknesses in the Atlanta defense, and he's going to exploit those weaknesses. And also, I think that the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers is going to be able to see that Matt Ryan, because he throws the ball behind people, defensive secondary linebackers start trailing behind the receivers, and chances are you're gonna be able to pick up the ball.
Well, guys, let me add this, Arkansas, and this to you as well, Dennis. I mean, this is the second or third time I've heard both of you guys talk about the ball being thrown behind players and what Matt has done, and I don't want to highlight that from my end of it too much, because it's still timing and it's still a lot of getting used to, what they haven't done, over the summer. So I don't think that could be a factor. Let's not start out reverting back to what Matt can't do or what Matt haven't done in 2 games or the few games. Let's go to what Matt can do. Matt Ryan is still one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the game. And I don't see what we saw in a few games in the preseason as be what is going to continue to happen throughout. He didn't do it last year. Well, all of a sudden, he's going to start back doing it this year.
I'm not throwing fault on Matt Ryan. I'm not saying he can't get it done. I'm just saying right now, Matt Ryan's unpredictable. If I had to guess right now, based on what I've seen throughout the preseason, and I made my prediction last year based on what I saw throughout the preseason, even though I was off. But looking at right now, we got our starting running back, and he's not even playing in the preseason ball game based on some kind of injury that we don't even know what's going on with him. Julio was a little injured. He's just coming back. And my biggest thing is in what I see in a lot of these games, we got Sarkisian, the new offensive coordinator. I'm not sure what he's going to do. Yeah. I mean, I watched the play call in the preseason. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed at all. Now, I know it's preseason. We could say that all night long. It was preseason. It don't really matter. But I still wasn't impressed with some of the plays, and we couldn't even drive the ball down the field. Matt Ryan, I think he had 4 of 11 or something like that from the first when he got the ball. And that doesn't look right. You going to pull your quarterback out of the ball game after 4 of 11? I mean, he couldn't even get. I forgot what the total of yards was, but what you got? Anything you got to say about that, Arkansas?
Well, I watched the preseason games, and I was a little impressed with Sark. The new offensive coordinator. There were some plays in there that I hadn't seen the Falcons run before. There were some rollouts in there, and a lot of other stuff different. I think he's going to be a pretty good offensive coordinator. I think it takes some time for them to get on the same page. I think it's going to take some time for Matt Ryan to get on the same page with the receivers. I do think that they will come around, but they have to be, in order for them to get back to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to win the game they're supposed to win and win some of the games that they're not supposed to win.
So what you got as a win or loss?
For the Packers, it's a loss.
It's a loss. Okay, we got 3 losses for Tampa. That's the first game, and everybody got 3 losses on that. We sound like we're on the same pace so far going down. Step on up to game number 3. It's going to be September the 24th. It's going to be a 1 p.m. ball game here. In Detroit, the Lions. What do you say, Arkansas Red?
They're going to beat the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, they only really high point for the Detroit Lions is Matthew Stafford, and with the amount of money they just paid him, I don't really see where he's going to be able to take that money and to turn it into any kind of numbers that's going to give them a win. They still have a team that pretty much sucks, and they're going to suck for a number of years.
Hey, I can continue to agree with you on that. Big time, what you
I have to agree. I mean, they don't have Matthew Stafford don't have a legitimate receiver. When Megatron left, that sort of put them in a snare, same position they were before, and they don't have a good running game. If they are to be any contenders throughout the year for whatever they be, they will have to rely on their defense if they are any good.
Okay, I can tend to agree with both of you guys on that game. I don't see anything from Detroit. I mean, when it comes to me, I look at a team and I look and see what they bring into the table and what Matthew Stafford is the strongest thing they got right now. But I don't really see a receiver. I don't see anybody really standing out. And so I agree with you guys. I would say that'll be a win for the Falcons in Detroit on September 24th. Moving on down the schedule, the fourth game of the season is going to be October the 1st. The Falcons play the Buffalo Bills here in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Who was last? This time?
Easily Atlanta.
Easily Atlanta?
Yes.
And why?
Well, I mean, they're not a good team, that team there. And I think Atlanta, playing at home, it's going to be a good atmosphere for them. Regardless of what the outcome of that first home game was against Green Bay, I think the Falcons will adjust and be able to have home field advantage in that particular game, if no else. And let me say that as we go on, the who we play is not as big of a factor for me as how well we play.
Uh-huh.
I think this team, Falcons, are good enough to beat most of the teams on the schedule, so it's going to depend on how well they play.
I would agree with that. Arkansas, what do you think?
Well, let me answer that question with a question. Can either one of y'all name anybody on the Buffalo Bills roster?
That's a good one. Can you name a player on the Buffalo Bills roster?
I don't know anybody. On the closest thing I know to them is at last year was the head coach.
Yep.
Well, one thing I'm going to say about the Falcons, which big time I tell you, I said every year, I said they're going to win a game they're supposed to lose, and they're going to lose one they're supposed to win. So I do believe, even though we don't know anything about that team, and a lot of time when you take on a team like Buffalo, it could be, we don't know what Buffalo how they're going to come out this year. But the Falcons could underestimate those guys, and they guys can come out and beat you. Because this is NFL, these are all quality teams. We ain't playing against college teams. So you better not underestimate anybody and step out there and lose the ball game.
I disagree with that. Buffalo Bills, their quarterback is DJ Mann. He's okay. He's a military quarterback. But the Buffalo Bills is not. That's one of the teams that you should beat. And if you come into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and after you play the Packers at home, and let's say you get a win there. Then the stadium is going to be so pumped. You're going to have to get a win at Buffalo too, because if you don't get a win with Buffalo at home,
right,
you're going to take all the air out of all your fans for the rest of the season.
Potentially.
Well, that's what happened to Carolina. I mean, they went out there in the season. They played in the Super Bowl and came back the next year, and this was a flop. I mean, but you never know.
Keep in mind that as Atlanta fans, we've seen a lot of football, and we've seen a lot of football games given away. And that's in the back of our mind. In the back of our mind, we kind of anticipated what happened in the Super Bowl was going to happen. We've seen that so many times. It hurt, but you got to admit it really wasn't that much of a surprise.
Well, I would say for a lot of people, but most people thought that they would win that game. And while I agree with your previous statement before saying that, let me add to it. These first four games that the Falcons play, they're going to be very important as to how they play them, and it's going to be also even more important if they win them because of what happened in that Super Bowl. This team has to come out of the gate being dominant, playing good football, and by all means winning those games. And here's another thing let me throw in there. After this Buffalo Bills game, we go into a bye week. I do not like that. That bye week, even though we can't control when it takes place, it is simply too early. We need to go into that bye week at least 4-0, or if nothing worse than 3-1.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. So, so you got that's a win for Buffalo, right? Arkansas.
Oh yeah, that's a win. No, that's a win for Buffalo. Yeah, we're beating Buffalo. That's a win for the Falcons.
Okay, and I'll say it's going to be a win as well. I tend to agree with you guys on being at home. I don't think they'll lose the first two ball games in Mercedes-Benz. I think it's going to be a struggle against Green Bay Packers, but coming back home to the field, I mean, they I believe they can represent. Like I said, it's not Buffalo doesn't have a whole lot to offer, according to what I see. Going into week 5. Okay, that was the bye week we talked about. So really nobody cares about. That's going to be automatic win for the Falcons.
and let me throw this in while you look at quick. Why that bye week early is so important. It's bad for us because you want that bye week to be a week where you rest up guys after several weeks of play. Good Lord! After this bye week, we got to go the rest of the way, playing injury or whatever to be successful. This is why I said earlier, guys. This is going to be one of the Falcons' toughest years they've had as a franchise in a long time.
I would agree with you. And like I said, I kind of like the bye week, and let me tell you why. Because the week after the bye week, October the 15th, going to be a 1 p.m. ball game. We play the Miami Dolphins here in Atlanta. Now, again, I tell you right off the bat, I think the Falcons they could lose this ball game. They should win this ball game. I'm going to tell you why they'll lose this ball game. Because on October 22nd at 8 p.m. on NBC, the Falcons play the New England Patriots, the team that lost to in the Super Bowl. I think the coaching staff, I think the players are going to be more focused on playing that New England ball game that they might just overlook the Miami Dolphins. So I'm going to call that game a loss against Miami.
After 2 weeks later,
I am going to call. I'm going to call it a loss.
I definitely doubt that.
My thing is this: I don't believe that professional players that's been playing anything are going to overlook anybody. Everybody has a game plan that you come out with, and I don't see them overlooking anybody. So coach's job is to make sure that they're prepared to come out and play football.
But let me,
and they know that they can get beat by anybody. So I don't consider them overlooking anybody.
I hear what you're saying.
Underestimate somebody.
These guys have been waiting all year long, and these guys have been questioning all year long of that loss to New England. And these guys, all they want to do is just beat New England. They're trying to put it behind them, but that's something you can't put behind them. I promise you, those guys, when they know New England's coming up the next week. Huh?
You're not going to overlook the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree with Arkansas on that.
I mean, they won't overlook them, but I believe they're going to have more focus on the Patriots. Even the coaching staff, I think, going to be, because Patriots, they don't want to go to Gillette Field and lose a ball game.
But they will. I predict that's a loss.
Oh, I understand that, but I'm saying they're going to be working so hard to make sure they don't lose this ball game. It's not like they're playing here in Atlanta. They got to go to Gillette Field. And I think the coaching staff, from the bye week all the way up, they're not going to overlook Miami, but I think at the same time they're going to put more emphasis on the Patriots. I think when you do that, you might go out there and play, but you're not focusing on this team like it's a team you have to win. Plus, it's not a division game, and I don't think it's a game that you have to win to make the playoffs.
Well, I agree with Arkansas on this. These guys are professionals, and they have a job to do, just like anybody do their job. Number two, if these guys go out and lose that game, I'm not only going to blame it on the guys. I'm going to blame it on that coaching staff.
Okay.
Because if that's the reason that they lost, of any way we can know that coach have not did his job. That coaching staff have not did their job.
I agree.
You got to play each game as is, and go into that next game. So we agreed that they'll beat. You said they'll lose.
I said they'll lose it.
Dolphins.
I said they'll lose.
I agree.
I think they'll beat the Dolphins.
They'll beat the Dolphins. The game I think they'll lose will be the New England Patriots. I think New England will really do what they felt they should have did in the Super Bowl the right way.
October the 22nd, 8 p.m.
I disagree with that.
The country will be watching. Everybody will be watching. It's going to be like in Atlanta. It's going to be like another Super Bowl.
If that game was in the Georgia Dome, I predict the Falcons to win. I don't see the Falcons going up there in New England, and it'd probably be cold up there outside, and New England going to say, you know what, we're going to show.
It's still in October. I don't think it's going to be that cold yet.
We're going to show the Falcons that what we did to them was what we should have did to them.
I disagree.
Bring it.
You know why I disagree with that? Because I think the exact opposite. I think that the Falcons are a better team. I think that the last two Super Bowls, New England got lucky. And that's basically, well, let me rephrase that. They didn't get lucky. New England took advantage of
an opportunity
that the Falcons made. They took advantage of opportunities. They should not have won the last two Super Bowls.
I agree.
Okay? Now,
I totally agree.
And I also too, I'm going to go down saying that the Patriots will not win the Super Bowl this year. It's going to get to a certain point where, okay, you had success on top of the mountain for this long. Everybody else is coming to get you, and they will get you. It's just a matter of time. This year, the Patriots will not be on the top of the heap, and I surely think that if Matt Ryan can be the quarterback that he has shown that he can be, and if he put that ball where it's supposed to be, the Falcons can beat anybody playing football.
No doubt, and I agree with you 100%, but let me add this. On any given Sunday, the best team don't always win. It's who play best that Sunday. And the New England Patriots, if the New England Patriots get back to the Super Bowl, and we talking way down the line, I probably don't think they will, but I'll say if they get there, I won't pick against them. They know what to do on that Sunday. The best team in the best team in the Super Bowl last year didn't win, but the best team who played best that Sunday was the New England Patriots.
I like that.
And I would agree with you. To me, one of the hardest things in sports is to bet against Belichick.
Hey, I was just in the same thing. Don't bet against Belichick.
You don't bet against Belichick and Brady. However, at a certain point, Belichick and Brady's got to have somebody else to carry them to the promised land. Okay, and they've already lost the wide receiver for the rest of the year, torn ACL.
Yeah.
Last year they lost the tight end for the whole year. It's going to get to a certain point where the football gods are not going to be looking favorably upon New England. They've got to look at somebody else. And the reason I'm not going with New England this year is purely through mathematics. Statistically, you can't continue to have the success that you've had. At some point, that has to turn around. And I think it's going to be this year where it's turned around. I think this particular game is going to come out, and Atlanta is going to come out, and if they play like they can play, they'll beat the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. But, I tell you what, another reason I say this is because I watched those guys play this year. I watched the Patriots play regardless of who's on the team. Belichick and Tom Brady, I mean, even though we don't like, I'm not going to say I don't like them, but as a fan of a Falcon, my heart says that Atlanta will win this ball game. But the football in me tells me it ain't going to happen. As much as I want to see it happen, it's going to be tough to happen. Now, when they win, I'm going to be happy. I'll be very happy if they were able to pull out. But I think you go into Gillette Field, they didn't lose. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't lose that many games at home last year, and I don't think it's going to be one.
Well, keep in mind, look at who they're playing to now. I mean, they're playing in a conference where they're far superior to everybody else. It's sort of like Alabama. They played in a conference where they just beating up everybody else, and they just sort of just.
I look at it sort of like the fight with Floyd Mayweather and what's that boy name that they fought the other night?
McGregor. But
Floyd Mayweather said what I did in the fight. That was my game plan to go the first 3 or 4 rounds to let him swing and tire himself out. Then I'm gonna come back and then I'll wrap it up at the end. I see Belichick them the same way. They sit back and let teams do what they do, but they continue to do what they do. They stay consistently throughout the whole ball game. And they win games like that. We went out there all gung ho, scoring points, but at the same time we didn't take in no consideration about your defense might get tired or whatever. How many games in the NFL have you seen a quarterback? Have you seen a team score 2 back-to-back 2-point conversions? I know we're getting off on the page.
That's not how the Patriots won though. The Patriots didn't win because they just wore down a Falcon defense. They won because of some football mistakes that was made on the coaches. They should have known better on what you do and what you do not do in certain situations. Right. You do not lose when you're in field goal range. You do not lose yardage. Moving along. You do not move out of field goal range. You get them 3 points because you're going to need every point, and you just don't do certain things. And part of it was because of the quarterback, the quarterback and offensive line. If you see a guy coming off the end, and he's going to sack you, you go down. You just take the loss. You just put the ball out of bounds. But anyway, we get off subject.
We can stay on the pages all day long. I think we had a couple of shows on that. And if you go back and listen to an earlier show, I almost cried my heart. I sit here with a bottle of cognac, and I talked about that game, and big time I talked about it. So another show we'll rehash that probably when that time comes, and the week before we play the Patriots again, we'll probably rehash some of the old things that happened in that ball game. So this is a prediction show, so we're going to try to stay on track right now because we're going to try to make this a short show for you guys, and because I know it's a weekly night. Going to week 8, we got October the 29th. It's going to be a 1 p.m. ball game. We're playing at the New York Jets. And so who won last time?
Obviously the Jets. The Falcons will win that game.
You think the Falcons win that game? Why?
Yeah. The Jets are just as bad. They're worse than Buffalo. The Jets will be one of the worst teams in the league beside the Jaguars this year.
Arkansas Red?
And I go back to my original question. Name one person on the Jets squad.
What's that quarterback name?
So,
yeah, they're very poor ball call. We all agree that the Falcons will win that game.
Yeah, that's That's a practice squad.
Y'all ain't giving some of the team in the NFL any credit. I mean, you got to keep in mind too. We are going to we going to what field is that? What's the name of that field up there in New York?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the name
It's
is.
kind of stupid. What is it?
Meadowlands.
Meadowlands, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, MetLife Stadium. That's what it's called.
But you got to keep in mind some of my NFL standards. There are some bad NFL teams out there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Arkansas. And guess what? There are even more this year than we realize. That's why the Falcons have a very good chance. And I'll give my prediction at the end, but that'll be one of the reasons that I do. Because there are some weak teams. And we're not, when you look at this overall schedule, we're not playing a lot of tough teams. Obviously, last year's schedule was more difficult than this one. But as you continue, Denny.
Okay, all right, stepping on to the next week. And everybody said that's going to be a win over the Jets. I concur with that. On ninth game of the season, November the 5th, it's going to be a game, the first division game. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Carolina, play on the Carolina Panthers. Might I say I'll go first this time. Might I say keep in mind, when it comes to your division game, these games are very important. And, like Carolina and New Orleans and Tampa, you can't just say, if they're having a bad season, you lose. I've seen many times that we played New Orleans and we had a much better season, and we turn around and they beat us. But going into Carolina, I watched those guys the other day. I watched Cam Newton. He don't really have a lot to throw to, and I think Cam is not in his top form right now. But it could be a slip up. It's a possibility that we could lose. But at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and give the Falcons a win in Carolina. What do you guys say? Big Sam?
Well, again, that's a toss-up game. I mean, and I always throw that in there to say I'm on the fence, and I say it because here, when you look at that game, that would be the 8th game into the season. Depending on what has happened to the Carolina Panthers when it comes to injuries and how well Cam is playing, if they're playing good ball, and particularly running the ball well and playing good defense, similar to what they had in the Super Bowl the year they went, that could be a game that the Falcons lose. So I'm going to have to say the Falcons will lose that game.
Okay. Big time. What say you?
I'm going with the Falcons win. To me, Cam Newton has had his best years. He was good. He was at the good, great level for several years. I think all that's behind him now. I think the whole nucleus for the Carolina Panthers, it's not the nucleus for them to win is not there anymore, and I think we'll take both games against them.
Okay. Well, another way I see this thing too. I made my prediction on it, but I think that after New England, it's going to be a tough ball game, and then the Jets. You guys gave your opinion on Jets, but then the Carolina. Now we're getting into the meat of our schedule. Now we're getting into some tough ball games. If an injury comes up, we lose one of our top 3. I call Julio, Devontae, Freeman, and Matt Ryan. We lose one of those guys, I think the schedule will be changed tremendously. As we go into the schedule.
And let me add, too, if we lose our center, Alex Max. Alex Max is very important to
Absolutely.
this, to keeping this.
And I think that's what Matt Ryan needs, because Matt Ryan, the center, not only the center, the right guard, hit on his backside blocker.
Alex Mack is the key to the whole success for the offensive line. And the thing about it is, if you can keep that offensive line healthy, Matt Ryan will do a lot better in his position.
Yes,
if
indeed.
He's got time to throw that ball.
Yep.
He's going to find somebody, and that increases the chances of him throwing it in the right position.
Correct. And because we got enough receivers out there that we can find people in it, and it's too much for defense coordinators to plan for. As long as Matt get the time. If Matt started doing that happy feet and got to step up in the pocket and all of that.
I disagree with you to the point, because when Julio's on the field, most people go to Julio, then we got Sanu to throw to. But I think if Julio's not on the field, even when Julio was hurt, being on the field, I think it played a big difference in our offense, because now people are going to either double Julio or go to Julio. It gives Sanu would be open. Or there's another option.
And you're right.
Now, what I'm watching with Sarkisian, I see a lot of it. I heard earlier, and I noticed in the preseason, he do a lot of back out of the backfield. He's throwing to the back out of the backfield. He's throwing across the short screen. To me, that kind of takes me back to the Mike Smith days. I don't like that, because now we're throwing the ball 5 to 10 yards.
You mean not a lot?
I don't like it a lot. I see nickel and dime. I know it's preseason. Yeah. Maybe he's just doing that during the preseason. But I'm telling you, I'm saying it here now live on the Michael's Hot that when the season starts, if we see this, they're going to make some changes. And I don't know how well the Sarkisian is going to do like Shanahan did. Shanahan was very good about keeping the offense unpredictable to the defense.
Yeah, I agree. But let me ask you guys both of this. With this Julio, and I'm backing off what you just said about what he does if he's on the field. I agree. But are you guys concerned about Julio's overall health? Not just for this year as having been a pro.
I'm not concerned about Julio because Julio Jones. I mean, he has been hurt and coming to the ball game. I mean, we all know the players go back in the back and they shoot him up and they come right back out. Julio has been hurt and not played one rep in practice the whole week. Go out in the ball game and hit 100 and something yards. Yeah. So I don't. He's a professional. He's been in the field. That's why he's probably the number 1 or number 2 receiver in the NFL this time. And that's what gave him that rank because he's so good at what he do.
But he hadn't been healthy a full season as a pro.
But being healthy haven't affected his ability to play.
What say you, Arkansas?
I don't necessarily have I don't have a concern about Julio's physical health. I'm more concerned about his mental health. You know, anybody will wear $100,000 worth of diamonds and go jet skiing and then take somebody to go look for the diamonds in the bottom of a lake.
I don't believe that to this day. I still don't believe that. I went to a jewelry store and I told the guy, I said, listen, hey, man, I need how much was it, $100,000? I said, I need a $100,000 earring. I said, tell me how big a diamond is that? Do you know how big a $100,000 diamond is in your ear?
You know how
that's like almost the size of a dime.
Keep in mind, it does not have to be that big. The value of diamonds is on clarity and a point.
Clarity. I don't give a dang how much it is.
It doesn't have to be that big.
Have you ever seen? I can show you a clear 2-carat diamond ring is pretty big. A 5-carat. How many carat was it? 5. That's a big ring, man.
That's a nothing burger right there. That man make enough money. That's not a big problem. But the schedule.
Give me some scuba diving here.
If you ain't got nothing, if you think that you can pay a diver to go and look for a diamond in water, I mean, really? I mean, that tells you something about your mental stability right there.
In the lake.
Oh, no, Arkansas. I don't agree with that.
They got bodies still in the bottom lake that they hadn't found yet.
I know he get $20 million a year and $100,000 don't be nothing to it.
And $20,000 for a diver.
I don't have a problem with you losing. You gonna send a diver into water to go find it? I mean, really? Chalk it up for a loss.
Leave my boy Julio alone, man. He gets the job done. All right. I like Julio
when he's healthy.
Yeah. But I mean, healthy or not, like I said before. I mean, healthy or not, Julio's been proven.
The Falcon got to stop. When are the Falcon gonna stop babysitting that boy and let him get out there and play? You know why? Because he can't stay healthy. The boy has soft bones.
I'm more concerned about Matt Ryan than I'm concerned about Julio. I mean, Julio can go down and we still can win. We can still win if Julio goes down, but Matt Ryan get hurt.
Thank you.
Hey, we pretty much shot it. It's gonna be like the year Michael Vick got hurt, and when he got hurt, and you can find tickets out there for $5 to go to the game. So I mean,
and I don't necessarily have a problem with making Sanu the number 1 receiver. If Julio gets hurt and making Sanu number 1, you got some really good receivers that are 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Julio is a really exceptional receiver because of his size and the way he runs and his hands. But there's still some good receivers on that team.
Oh, Gabriel, yeah.
It's just a matter of Gabriel. I just love Gabriel. It's just a matter of putting the ball in the right spot for those guys. And then they'll be successful.
Yeah. All right, let's move it on down the list. And how about them Cowboys on November the 12th at 4 p.m., another primetime ball game. The Falcons play the Dallas Cowboys on Fox. How do you guys feel about that? Them Cowboys, I'm going to jump out again on this one. I feel that the Cowboys felt that they should have been in the Super Bowl, and if they would have came to Atlanta last year in the NFC Championship game, they would have beat Atlanta. So
Atlanta would have had to go down there.
Yeah. So even though they coming here, it's going to be a tough ball game. Again, it depends on injuries, but I'm gonna go not with my heart. I'm gonna go with what I think. I think we'll lose that ball game.
Well, I disagree. I think we'll win that one. That's a primetime game. The Falcons have shown, even in their losing years, they tend to play better when the lights are on them, and they're good enough to beat Dallas because Dallas. I think this. Running back situation is going to hurt them for a little while.
All right. Arkansas?
You know, I think they're going to beat Dallas. You know, again, it goes back to if the Falcons and you know, I hate to be repetitive, but if the Falcons play the kind of ball that they can play, well, let me rephrase that. If Matt Ryan plays the kind of ball that we know he can play, I don't think there's anybody out there can beat us. And this includes Dallas Cowboys. You know, Dallas Cowboys they're a good team, but I still think that we're a better team when we can beat them.
Hold on. What'd you say, Big Time? He said we beating Matt up. We ain't beating Matt up. Matt is who he is. Matt, you know, I'm not gonna make it a Matt Ryan show, but I'm gonna say just like this here. I'm watching this guy closely, and a lot of other professional players on ESPN, analysts and players are watching Matt Ryan. You wonder why he's not getting all the credit that Tom Brady's getting and Aaron Rodgers is getting right now, because it's about consistency. And Matt Ryan haven't proven himself to be consistent. He had one hot year at the last of the season. 1 year. He was out the year before last. They was talking about getting rid of Matt. Did you remember the year before last?
You were talking about getting rid of.
Talking about getting rid of Matt.
Those that mad at him and because they wasn't winning.
You always call him.
This man has been the MVP of the Falcon for the last 8 years.
Okay.
And you don't be the MVP of the league and take your team to the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden the next year you're gonna drop off that bad.
But the thing about it, Big Time, is this: is and like I said, I understand what you're saying, and I really hate to beat Matt Ryan up, but the key to the success for the Atlanta Falcons is Matt Ryan. It's Matt Ryan and it's nobody else.
You agree?
Matt Ryan.
You agree, Big Time?
I agree 100%, but I also think that you can't put all the blame on him, and I'm not saying that you all are, but you know, the one of the big factors for the Falcons' success, and I think this is why they will be successful this year, if their defense do what they need to do and is capable of doing, and number two, if the Falcons accent the run game.
You know, I agree with you. The difference in Matt Ryan and his place now in the NFL top quarterback ranking is this: is all of the other great quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, very good quarterbacks, they find the way for their team to win. Okay? They will not lose a game for their team. Okay? You got to get all the way down to Eli Manning before you find a quarterback that's going to cost their team a game. Matt Ryan is so inconsistent, and we see on every game where he's not putting the ball where it needs to be. That's costing us games.
You got to see Big Time.
You have to admit, there have been a lot of games where he has cost us some games.
I love it, man.
And that's in the back of our minds. We know that potential exists for him to throw an interception on a 3rd and 1.
Now, we're talking to somebody that's been on the sideline, has watched this cat. And Arkansas Red, we know he's been on the sideline and he's seen this guy. And I'm not saying he's an expert on it, but, you know, one thing, we both marched down there and I complained and biggered about certain things, looking at this guy's face and looking at the way he's throwing the ball and stuff like that, because that's very important. And don't get me wrong, we are fans. I want to make sure that people out there know that listen to the show that we are fans. I mean, listen to my prediction right now. It doesn't sound like I'm a fan. I am a very big fan, and I hope that I'm wrong on these games I said they will lose on. And most of these games that I see on here, they could be very close ball games. But I think it's going to affect them on their schedule for as win or loss. That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, see, Big Time, I had this very conversation yesterday. I was talking to Stevie Wonder, and Stevie could see this.
Did you say Stevie Wonder?
And Stevie could see it.
So Stevie can see it clear as day.
Listen, you guys, you don't be. It's 32 teams in the NFL. Matt Ryan has been in the top 10 since he's been an NFL quarterback.
Top 10.
Matt Ryan has thrown over 4,000 yards for the last 4 seasons straight. I admit that Matt Ryan has not been consistent when you look at this team's win. But let me add, Matt Ryan has had 3 different coordinators in the last 3 years. Matt Ryan hadn't had a legitimate offensive line except last year. Matt Ryan has not had the same head coach. I can go on and on and on. Now, I'm not making excuses for him, but remember what I said. 32 teams in the league. Matt Ryan has been in the top 10 or 11 since he's been a quarterback.
Okay. All right,
Hey,
guys.
but big time. Big time.
Hey.
If we hold on, let me get this big time. If we go back to Buffalo been to the Super Bowl how many times? 5 times.
Well, back in the 90s, yeah.
They went 5 times and didn't win any of them. It's all about what have you done for me. You can throw a zillion yards, but when it comes down to and you're in the Super Bowl, you're in the playoffs, you trying to win a game, and you throw an interception on 3rd and 1, or you fumble, or you take a team out of the field goal range. That's all for nothing.
But when has he?
All them yards you threw, it's for nothing. If you cost those games consistently, I don't care how many yards you threw.
He hasn't done that. Arkansas, I disagree with you totally. He hasn't done that consistently. I give Matt Ryan one of his worst years, and I think what you all who drank the haterade toward him. A banking on haterade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the first year that the offensive coordinator here. I agree. The year before last.
That was 2 years. That was 2 years ago.
No, not 2 years ago. This team didn't have a.
That was 2 years ago when we sucked because he kept throwing all the interceptions.
But he didn't have.
It was year before last.
It was year before last.
Year before last.
Yeah, but year before last. But that was under new offensive coordinator. Shanahan admitted, and Matt Ryan admitted they didn't have a command on the offense. But when you look at what they did that same bad year that you all want to remember, the next year he took the team to the Super Bowl and became the MVP of the league. So how is he that bad of a quarterback when you haven't had an offensive line? This man haven't had a consistent offensive line. Then one of the things that has made Tom Brady so great is he has had the same coach and the same offensive coordinator for the last 15 years.
And it's all say good offensive line. You're absolutely right.
The same thing. This man that had to learn new offensive coordinator from the head coach of the and guess what? Every one of the offensive coordinator, it shows you something else about it. Think about this. Every coordinator he's had over the last 3 years have gone on to be head coaches. Matt Ryan may have made them look good enough to go be a head coach. Come on, guys. Give me a break here.
But keep in mind now, how many of those head coaches that he has so-called made have been successful? None of them.
Well, success can't be defined in one area. It's the whole overall team concept as a whole. Matt Ryan, back in 2012, took his team to the NFC Championship and they lost to the San Francisco 49ers in Dome. Matt Ryan made one mistake in that game that probably caused
threw the ball behind Roddy White.
Well, it wasn't a behind. I think it was a fumble.
No, it wasn't a fumble. I'm telling you, I'm right in the end zone looking at it. He threw the ball on Matt Ryan's left. On Roddy White's right hip. And the defender was right there and just knocked it down.
I understand
that ball would have been in front of that, been a touchdown.
We can name plenty of specifics that caused this team to lose. I'm simply saying, guys, the quarterback get the credit, the quarterback deserve the blame. But I don't want to see these Falcon fans start to turn on what they did 2 years ago when if this team is not successful this year, and place it on that guy's back.
But the thing about it, big time, is that will not happen if Julio is dropping the football, if Campbell is fumbling the football, if the offensive line letting guys come through the line and he gets sacked. None of his blame will go to Matt Ryan. Okay? The blame goes to Matt Ryan when he consistently throws the ball behind a receiver.
Okay. All right, listen.
If you throw the ball ahead of a receiver, you put it into a spot where nobody can catch it but your man. But when you throw it behind the receiver, I almost caught one, a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I'm on the sideline.
Arkansas Red. We're gonna wrap this. We need to move it on. Well, this I'll tell you, as the season progresses, we'll bring this subject back up again, and we'll see what Matt Ryan gonna do this year.
You take control of your show, man.
No, I mean we can't be all night on one subject. And right now, we're really hitting on Matt Ryan pretty heavily. But while you guys in there talking, I'm looking at the schedule, and I just want to bring something to you guys. I think I'm gonna go back and change one of my predictions that I said to the Cowboys that we would lose to the Cowboys. I think I'm going to put that down as a win, and I got several reasons I believe so, but I mean, when I wrap it up, I'll kind of let you know for that reason. But right now, I'm putting the Cowboys down to win, just like you guys did.
Let's give one answer to them. To go through the rest of them.
Okay. On November the 20th at 8 p.m., another primetime game. They got 6 primetime games this year. We're going to be rolling. The Falcons will go out to Seattle. They play the Seattle Seahawks. Arkansas Ray, what do you think?
That's going to be a win.
It'll be a win?
Yeah.
Big time?
Loss.
Say August. You said it's going to be a win?
Excuse me, a win, W-I-N. Put it down for a win.
Okay, and I'm putting it down for a loss. And that's one of the reasons I believe they're going to be a loss because they got to go out to Seattle in the cold. If you remember, we played Seattle last year in the playoffs, and we lost to them, and I'm sure they're looking for revenge. Mm-hmm. A lot of controversy against that ball game, so I'm not going to hang on it, but we'll keep it moving. All right, the second, November the 26th at 1 p.m., the second division game, we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. What do you guys think on that, big time?
I said win.
Win? Arkansas?
Win.
And I'll say win as well. I agree with that. I think coming here in the Mercedes-Benz. Now, I'm going to say this right quick about Tampa Bay. I watched those guys on Hard Knocks, and I was impressed. I mean, I watched James Winston. I watched the receiver they got. They got Deshaun. Is it Deshaun Watson? From Philly. They got him back. Those guys look good, man.
Yeah, and they do. They got another really big receiver named Evans, but one thing you can't take away, and I don't see much improvement unless till I see it. Yeah. Jameis Winston threw more interceptions than most quarterbacks in the league last year.
But he was accurate.
And still, but he wasn't that accurate if he was throwing a number of interceptions.
That was last year, but watching him in the preseason,
ever since he's been a pro, he has thrown more interceptions than any quarterback in the league.
Well, I don't have a problem throwing strikes as long as you're throwing the ball. And if you threw an interception, but that's between him and the
INT ain't gonna get you nowhere, baby.
I agree. Okay, Eric, you got anything to say about that?
No.
Nope. Okay. Moving on to the next ball game. It's gonna be December the 3rd. It's gonna be in Minnesota. Then if I go to Minnesota Vikings, what do you guys say on that? For the Falcons, win or loss?
I got to put it down for a win.
Okay. Big time.
Win.
Big time. That's 3 wins. I said a win as well. I don't see the Minnesota ain't got. They lost Adrian Peterson. And
but they got one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
I will say this.
But they come here.
I thought you said that was in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's here. It's here.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why I win. That's a win.
Yeah. If it was in Minnesota, it's December the 3rd, I think it'd be pretty cold out there. Yeah. We don't play well in cold weather, so But I would say that. Moving on the schedule.
They play in a dome. They won't be because they play in a dome.
They got no stadium there?
They got a dome though. Yeah, they didn't.
Okay.
They had a dome.
It's
for a
still
long
cold.
time.
We play in Philadelphia.
Philly's outside.
Okay. The 14th game of season, December the 7th. The Atlanta Falcons host at 8:25 another primetime ball game on NFL Network, NBC, and on Amazon. Ever heard of a ball game being on Amazon? We host the New Orleans Saints here in the new Mercedes.
Oh, that's a win.
That's a win?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll be the win. What'd you say, Eric?
That's gonna be a butt stumping.
Butt stumping by who?
You'll be a butt stumping. Falcons gonna stump their butts.
You think we'll stump New Orleans? Keep in mind, fellas. Keep in mind, big time. We always talked about this. Regardless of what our season looked like, regardless of what their season looked like. Keep in mind, last year we played them here, and we dominated them to a certain point. But remember, I told you it was a game that they started to come back on. We got so far ahead that we kind of slacked up. And next thing you know, the Saints was scoring. Drew Brees threw the ball down the field. So, they got Adrian Peterson this year.
We were playing prevent defense. One of the reasons I agree with Arkansas on this butt stumping, and it happened in the second game as well. This team, the Falcons, the defense is much better. And this is one of our problems have been since Drew Brees was in the league. And second problem we had that we don't have now, Mike Smith didn't know how to play those guys. We are a much better team than the Saints now. And I don't see any way they can beat us in any game.
Okay. All right. Moving on down the schedule, December the 18th. Man, we got a lot of 8:30 ball games. It's right after one 8:30 ball game on December 2nd. Now we go to Tampa Bay. Play Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be 8:30 ball game on December 18th. What say you guys?
Put me down for a win.
For a win? What do you say?
I see a loss.
I see a loss as well. I don't think, like I said, regardless of what happens, I think Jameis Winston, even though, I think he might start out slow, even though he started out strong last year, I think by this time in the schedule, it might be a game that we might lose. I believe we're going to lose.
Yeah, we could lose. And one thing you got to keep in mind, when them primetime games, those are a different animal for teams.
And at Tampa.
And you know what I mean? And I say that, figuratively because, it simply is a game where there's no other teams are playing, lights are on, and guys can play well and some guys can play not so well.
Right. Everybody got that? So I say a loss. Eric, you say win, and Big Time, you say a loss. On December the 24th, that's Christmas Eve, and right here in the Mercedes-Benz, in New Orleans, we played the New Orleans Saints. That's a 1 p.m. ball game. What say you?
Well, I say a win now, but I will say this. Depending on where we are in terms of wins and losses and what it means for us in the playoff ranking, if we are in playoff contention, I think we will be. They could beat us when we rest in half of our guys and our minds are not in, and they just want to prove that they can beat us as a rivalry. But it may not make a difference either way to where we go. But I still say a win.
Another butt stomping.
Nobody likes New Orleans. Drew Brees is still Drew Brees, and Drew Brees can still throw that ball. He can still get downfield. And we going there on Christmas Eve. I think at this point, in the season, it might be where, hopefully, if it's what we if it was like it was last year, we so far ahead of these guys, 3 or 4 ball games, it really won't even matter whether we win or lose.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm going to go with you guys on a win on that one. The last game of the season, December 31st, right before the playoffs, we played the Carolina Panthers here in Mercedes-Benz. What say you?
I got to win.
Well, again, I have to say it's a toss-up game depending on where we are and where we're going, and we may rest a lot of guys. So I would say I would lean toward us in winning that game. But it could lose as well.
Okay. So you're going to say that'll be a win?
Right.
Okay. And I will say it'll be a win as well. All right, guys, time to wrap it up right here. Let's get our prediction. I wrote down what you guys said right here, but I know maybe some of the games can go either way. But overall, who want to go first? Arkansas Red, you want to give us your prediction for the 2017 season?
And let him add in there why he's giving it as well.
You want to add it?
No, he's going to add in there in his prediction why he's
giving
it.
Yeah. Tell me, give me your prediction. Tell me why.
You kept a count. What was the count, Dennis?
Actually, you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 11 wins. You got 11 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. 11 and 5. The reason, and the reason I picked the way I did is because I think the new offensive coordinator, I think with the center.
Hold on. I'm wrong.
I thought he gave him
you 11 and 5. Big Time's 11 and 5. You have Eric. You have one. You don't have one loss. You got 15 and 1. What? You picked 15 and 1.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you.
I picked 15 and 1.
You picked 15 and 1.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what you picked. But I mean, I understand that might not be, your prediction, but just you can still give me your prediction. I'm just telling you what you picked overall because there's some games in there. I'm sure I have some that it might not be that game, but it might be the next one. Like it might not be Dallas, it might be Seattle.
I think they'll lose. I think they'll lose about 3. And the reason I picked this is I think the new offensive coordinator. I think he'll turn out to be. I got a lot of faith in Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has shown to me that he knows what he's doing, and from the coaching staff that he's picked and the success that we've had under him, I got a lot of faith in his pick in the offensive coordinator. I've seen some of the plays he called. They look a little different than what we've done before. I think they'll get a lot more players involved. I think they're going to work with some of the problem areas that we've had in the past, and I think those problem areas will be corrected. And if those problem areas are corrected, I think we're as good or better than anybody in the NFL.
Okay. Big Time?
Well, Dennis, what you kept in the records was exactly what I picked them to be. Mm-hmm. And even though I wasn't keeping the count, I predict them to win 11 games and lose 5. And I don't know, and just to piggyback off what Arkansas said about the offensive coordinator, I don't know enough about this guy to feel as good as Arkansas does about him. And Sarkisian. Yeah, and regardless of, it has been said that Matt Ryan will have the opportunity to do a lot of audibles, and he'll be more in tune with what he want to do on the field as opposed to what he did with Shanahan. While that's good, and I think he need that, and he's capable of doing it, they still got to get on the same page with the plays they want to call at the right time. And I want to see what they do, particularly Sarkisian, when this team run into a controversy, meaning not off the field, on the field, when some team is stopping them, putting up a strong defensive stunt from them, and what they'll do when Matt Ryan throw a couple of interceptions perhaps in a game.
I agree.
What are they going to do in that situation to recapture or recoup and still win that game? Because I believe the defense is strong enough to keep these games close. So they're going to have to really show what Matt and Sarkisian can do, how quick he get the plays into him, how they be able to utilize a running back. I also predict us to win the division. I think we're good enough to do that. 11-5 obviously should get us the division win. I do not predict us to get back to the Super Bowl.
You think we get to the NFC Championship game?
I can believe we can get to the NFC Championship game, but it's going to be depending upon the win. It's going to be depending upon where we're playing it at. If we have shown throughout the 8 games that we have dome field advantage with the crowd and with the way we play, if that NFC Championship game is in the dome, then I think we have a good chance.
Right.
But when you look at the number of teams that can creep up and be good, like Dallas, like the New York Giants, like the Green Bay Packers, and team that may be out there that we don't know anything about, it still is going to be a toss-up, and you got to be playing good ball in late December and January, and you got to be healthy as well. I don't predict the Falcon to get back to the Super Bowl.
Big time. I'm sorry, Red. How do you feel about the postseason? You think they'll win the division, and you think they'll make it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they have the potential to get back to the Super Bowl, and in my opinion, they have the potential to win it. They got there. They got humiliated last year. The way they lost hurt, and it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And 2 games on the schedule are going to be vital. Both games, the game against New England, and they get back to the Super Bowl. And if the NFL gods go like they prediction go, New England should be back there next year. But I don't think that they will win it. Atlanta has a good team. They really do. I like the draft pick they got. They're starting to draft guys. They're starting to start coming in the door and start every game. I like that. The guys are sticking around in the league a lot longer. The ones that they're drafting. So I don't see a reason why they cannot have the continued success that they had last year. It's all a matter of if they're able to cut down on the mistakes that cost them games. They're able to cut down on mistakes that cost them games. They will win those games. And I didn't say Matt Ryan. I never used the word Matt Ryan, but that's what I meant.
Okay, all right. I agree with you. Okay, this is weird. Out of. I mean, how many years we've been calling the same Big Time? How many years we've been doing? Over almost 10 years.
About 10 years.
We've been doing about 10 years, and we have never had the same prediction of a season prediction. And might I remind you that in the last show that we talked about the prediction, you actually started with was it 13-3?
Yes.
And I think after watching this last preseason game, you had a little change of thought. But we always said that we don't really make our final prediction until after preseason's over. So for pretty much the preseason's over because none of the starters will be playing the next ball game. So that's why we all are making our prediction today. And also we'll give other people opportunity throughout the week. I'll be talking to other people and they'll be giving their prediction on the show. Probably not as long as this show lasted tonight. But my prediction, like I said before, I had 11-5 prediction as well. I actually, that's what I said, 11-5 coming into it. And as I looked at the schedule when we were talking earlier, with that Dallas ball game and that Seattle ball game, I know one of those ball games we would probably lose. And so I think I went to Seattle. Even though we didn't pick the same ball games, we still had the same prediction. And the reason being, like I said before, what I am looking at is coming into a new season. We have a lot of talent. I like Dan Quinn as a head coach. Sarkisian, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know what he's capable of. It took 2 years for us to figure out Shanahan because the first year he came in, he wasn't on track. And now you're going to bring a new offensive coordinator in and expect him to take up where we left off last year. I don't think Matt Ryan will be as good as he was last year. Nothing personal against him. But I think with a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback coach, I think things will be a little bit different. I think it might be a little confusing because I'm watching some of the plays that they're running in the preseason. They didn't look too sure. I thought they should have run more. They should have had the starters out there for a little longer in the preseason ball game. I understand that they wanted to make sure they didn't risk anybody getting injured, but I think the time is just not down with the offense right now. Matt Ryan, like I said, it's possible he can get better as the season go on, but I saw too many passes. The guy went 4 for 11 in the last preseason ball game, and I think you got to do better than that. You played against teams like Pittsburgh and Arizona. I mean, we got to be better than that. I know it doesn't matter about the score of the ball game, but I just don't think we prepared yet. That's why going into the first ball game, and when you're not prepared, one thing I always say about football games and football teams is two things that make this is very important. It's preparation and conditioning. And at this point in the ball game, I don't think we were prepared for the first ball game of the season. We might go out there because Chicago is just not that good of a team and win. But if we were playing somebody like a Pittsburgh or something like that, or a team that's that I feel is more competitive, that we would probably lose the ball game. So right now, like I said, that's why I'm so shaky with my schedule. Even though I picked certain teams, it just didn't. It just looked like they might lose this game. And regardless of what teams I chose in the schedule, I still think it'll probably be 11-5. I do think they will win the division. I think New Orleans is not really going to be that big of a team this year. It's a possibility we could lose New Orleans. It's a possibility we could beat Tampa twice. I don't think so. I think what James Winston doing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, Tampa looks really good. They look really good. And I think just like last year, they beat the first ball game of the season. But if we got to go to Tampa later in the season, I think it could be a loss, or vice versa. Well, I was saying Tampa, Carolina. Carolina, I don't think they have it this year. I just really don't think they. I think James Winston's still struggling. I don't think he's ready. I think he don't really have anybody to throw the ball to. So that could be a problem. I do believe we'll win our division. I do believe we'll make the playoffs again. The Big Time, we've got a lot in common here. You said that you don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl, but you think they'll win the division. I think that's going to be a pretty close because it'll probably be either in the division game, it'll be a Dallas Cowboys. What could happen in there that could be a factor is that if the Falcons play, depending on how the season go, getting home field advantage is going to be a big plus for them. The Dallas Cowboys, just like last year, if you lose a certain ball games and they have a better schedule than we do, then that knocks us out of the home field advantage. We just got lucky last year and they got knocked out of the playoffs. But I believe if we could gain home field advantage, I believe we can go back to the Super Bowl. But if something happens in the schedule that we don't get home field advantage, then because everybody knows it takes a little luck during the playoff to make that next level. I don't care how good a team you are. Even though New England's a smart team, they don't get there every year, but they're smart enough. They know the formula to get there. But I think for us, I mean, we went once in the last 10 years. Am I correct? It's been 10 years ago since we went to the Super Bowl. So I like our odds with Dan Quinn as a head coach. I like what he's doing with the Falcons. And I think in the next 45 years, we're going to be successful. And I think if we don't go this year, I think next year we have just as good a chance. And in that thought, that's how I feel about the Falcons. 11-5 for me. Big Time 11-5. Arkansas Red 11-5. And that's our prediction for tonight. Well, folks, we're going to wrap this show up tonight. It's been an awesome show tonight, and Big Time and Arkansas Red. I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna take this thing to the next level, and we're going to see you guys again. It's going to be a great season. The Atlanta Falcons, folks, we are all fans. We love our Falcons, baby. We're going to see you at the ball game, all right? This is DJ Thomas with the mic is hot. We'll see you next time. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. And we out.